Hi there and welcome to the EWC. Today we'll be having a look at another watch from Pagani Design, a brand that has become really popular in recent years because of their promises of amazing value for money with their outrageous specifications. Pagani Design is a Chinese homage brand that focuses on recreating designs by Rolex, Omega, Seiko, and many more other popular brands. Today we'll be having a look at an homage of the Rolex Yacht-Master, which is a pretty familiar design by Rolex. We have looked at Pagani Design watches on the channel before, and I've been impressed every single time by what they're able to offer at such a low price point. We looked at a Pagani Design Submariner Hulk homage and a Pagani Design Seiko Cocktail Time homage. So if you're interested in those, do have a look in the links in the description below. So today we're going to see how this one measures up in quality. Is it just as good as those? Is it even better? And we'll have a look, of course, at a holistic review of whether you should consider this piece. As a little bonus, this one is a bit similar to the Hulk homage we looked at before, so we're going to be doing a little bit of a comparison there as well. So let's have a look. Okay, here we are with the Pagani Design Yacht-Master Homage watch, which is inside of this black box. As you can see, the box is signed Pagani Design with the logo. It's nice to have a decent box like this at this low price point. This one I picked up for around 100 Canadian dollars from AliExpress. The trick is to wait for a sale, apply some coupons, and then get the price as low as you can. I think 100 Canadian dollars is a reasonable price to pay for this piece. Let's have a look inside. We have a blue Pagani Design polishing cloth, a guarantee card, and a user's manual, which you can just set to the side. We have in here the watch. It looks quite nice. I think Pagani Design did a decent job of recreating the Rolex Yacht-Master look. I'm quite happy with it. As you can see, I went for the black dial, black bezel with Jubilee bracelet combination. I think it works with the watch quite well. Let's get it off the cushion. Here it is. They do a reasonable job with the Jubilee style bracelets as well. So overall, it's a pretty good looking watch, but we'll have a look in greater detail of its strengths and weaknesses later in the video. Also, you'll notice it looks a bit similar to the Rolex Hulk homage I looked at earlier, the one by Pagani Design, so we'll be making a direct comparison with that one as well. The Rolex Yacht-Master is actually fairly new. It was introduced in the 1990s by Rolex as a way to incorporate a nautical-themed lifestyle into their collection. You can notice some similarities with the case, bezel, and dial design compared to other professional watches, such as the Submariner and the Sea Dweller. The version made by Pagani Design sticks true to Pagani Design's experience, making homages of Rolex watches among other luxury watches. You can see obvious similarities between these two in terms of design. However, there are a few differences which we will explore in just a moment. Let's start with some measurements. I'll be using my digital calipers to do that. First, we have the case diameter, which is 40 millimeters. Next is the lug to lug, which is around 47 millimeters. Last is the thickness of around 12.5 millimeters. The lug width is 20 millimeters. It comes on this Jubilee style bracelet, which I chose. There is also an option for an oyster style bracelet as well as a silicone strap. Since it is a common lug width of 20 millimeters, you can swap it for your own bracelet as well as a silicone strap, maybe even NATO straps or leather straps if you like those. Overall, I think it's a pretty versatile watch. It's got great sizing, and I think it is just right in terms of dimensions. Alright, here we are with the Pagani Design, now going into the specifications of the watch. This particular model, if you want to go by the Pagani Design model numbers, is PD1651. Let's have a look at that dial. We have the Pagani Design logo and Pagani Design text written just below the 12 o'clock. Printed just above the 6 o'clock is automatic, water resistant, and 10 bar/100 meters. Looking at the dial around that text are applied markers, triangle at the 12 o'clock, rectangles at the 6 and 9, and circles for all the other hours except for the 3. All of those markers are loomed and framed in a silver tone applied frame. Around those markers is a printed minute track in white. Looking at the hands, we can see that they're reasonable imitation of the Rolex ones. We can see the Mercedes on the hour and the circular balance on the seconds hand. All of those hands are loomed as well. If we look at the dates window, there it is with the Cyclops, simple, white, unframed. It does the job, I suppose. Zooming out from the dial, I'm not sure if you can see a little bit of sunburst effect. Sunburst is always hard to get right on black, so I suppose I could forgive Pagani Design for that one. Alright, so we have this bezel here imitating the Yacht-Master. It's inverted in colors, so it is slightly darker on the text and lighter at the back. We have this light gray to black color bezel with dark black glossy markers, triangle at the 12, Arabics at the 10, 20, 30, 40, and 50, rectangular markers for the increments of 5 between those Arabics, and also minute markers from the 12 to the 15. This bezel is a 60-click unidirectional bezel with reasonable action. Going to the case now, we can see brushed and polished surfaces, polished at the sides, brushed at the top, crown guards at the 3 o'clock surrounding this Pagani Design signed crown, which is a really nice touch. Inside, we have the Seiko NH35A movement with 24 jewels, 21,600 beats per hour. We have hacking and hand winding, which I will show you with the crown operation. We can unscrew the crown. Default position is hand winding. Second position is for the time. And first position is for the date. There we go. The case back is a display case back. We can see some text there as well. Pagani Design water resistance, 100 meters purported water resistance, and stainless steel. Display case back's really nice if you want to see that movement. Going back up here, the glass is synthetic sapphire, so you won't have to worry about scratching that, although I would be a bit worried about the bezel and the case still. The bracelet is a reasonable attempt at imitating a Rolex Jubilee. We have solid end links, solid links, brushed for most of it except for the polishing down the center. The clasp is a simple Pagani Design attempt at a Rolex clasp, polished in the center, brushed on the sides. Presses down like that with the security. Something interesting about this clasp as well is it has an attempt at an easy link system, although it's quite stiff. We can just go like that, and there we go. So that easy link system is really nice if you're sweating on a hot day, your wrist expands a bit, and you want that extra few millimeters of room on your bracelets. Overall, I think this watch packs in a whole lot of value, whole lot of specifications, but are those specifications any good? We'll be discussing that next. Alright, here are the two Pagani Design watches side by side. My Rolex Submariner Hulk Homage, as well as the Rolex Yacht-Master Homage. Both of them, as you can see, have nearly identical cases and crown guards. The crown itself is slightly different, but it is mainly the design of the bezel that is different. Even the dials look a bit similar. Main difference with the bezel is this one is 60 click, whereas this one is 120 click. I personally like the 120 better. It just feels like it is more sophisticated than the 60 click. However, that is a personal preference. There is one issue with the bezel on this one though, and that is that the bezel actually has a little bit of wobble to it. As you can see, the bezel on this one, however, has no wobble. It is really stable and the action is really excellent. So there's one for the Submariner Hulk, none for the Yacht-Master. I will point out, however, that the crown action on the Yacht-Master is really nice. The action for the screw down and screw back in for this one is decent, but this one is just really smooth. So I think they did a good job in that respect. As for the bracelets, they're both similar in quality. They have the exact same clasp with this one right here and the Easy Link system. Both are stiff, so neither gets a point for that. Also, both have rough edges in the bracelets and even on the case as well, so you'll find it a little bit sharp at times, but don't worry, you'll get used to it over time. The main difference between the bracelets is this one feels really solid to me. You don't see a lot of movement in the bracelets, and it just has a little bit more weight to it. Versus this one, I can already feel it's a bit lighter, and you can see it shifting around like that. So I think the Oyster style bracelet is just better made, although the Jubilee one may be a little nicer in terms of style and maybe slightly more comfortable. Again, it is all up to you to decide that component of the watch though. Overall, who wins? I just have a soft spot for the Rolex Submariner Hulk, especially with the Submariner design and particularly with the availability of this green color. The sunburst just has a really nice effect on the Hulk versus little to no effect on the black Yacht-Master, although you could try some different colorways. Here's the watch on wrist. As you can see, it wears quite comfortably, and the Jubilee bracelet works really well, both in terms of looks and comfort. I'm quite happy with the way it wears overall. However, you do have the option of swapping out the bracelets. I personally don't like wearing bracelets in the summer or in hot weather just because I sweat, and then that makes the bracelet a bit uncomfortable. The Easy Link system mitigates it a little bit, although you can swap this out for a 20mm silicone or leather or NATO or whatever fits your fancy. So strengths and weaknesses. Those are pretty similar with this watch as to the other Pagani Design watches I've reviewed on this channel before. Strengths are quite obvious, I would say. Pagani Design did a good job of recreating the design of the Rolex Yacht-Master, so no points docked there. I think they did a good job with this homage piece. Also, in terms of specifications, I always like seeing the Seiko NH35A movement in watches. It's arguably all you could need in a mechanical watch movement, so that's good as well. Overall, it feels well built. It doesn't feel like a cheap watch, and it makes it seem like it is more expensive than it actually is, which is nice to see in a watch of really any price point. On to weaknesses though. I did mention many of those previously with the comparison to the Pagani Design Submariner Hulk. The bezel's got some wobble, so the action's not the greatest. That, I think, is just a QC issue. Something I noticed among all my Pagani designs so far is the sharpness of some edges on the case and the bracelets and the clasp. Something to note there. Also, the bracelet on this one is not as well executed as I would have hoped. However, it is hard to nail Jubilee at this price point, so I could forgive them for that. The Easy Link system could be better. It's just so stiff that it takes a whole lot of effort to get it out, especially the first few times that you use it. But that's really all the complaints I have for this one. Last one, I suppose, would be this date window. It's usable, but like my other one on the Pagani Design Submariner Hulk, it's over magnified, so the date appears way too big. All in all, while Pagani Design does offer amazing value for money, we can't always expect a perfect product. When buying from a non-mainstream brand such as Pagani Design, that's super niche and not that big in nature, there are inherent risks, hence the few complaints I had with this particular watch. But then again, some big brands get some of these QC issues wrong as well. We only have to look at Seiko, for instance. So let me know down in the comments what you think of this Pagani Design. I think it's got some trade-offs but still offers amazing value. Do you like these Pagani Design Homage watches, and what have your experiences been like? Let me know down in the comments, and if you want to see more videos on Pagani Design, have a look at the links in the description below as well. So until next time, cheers. Thank you very much for watching the Everyday Watch Collector. Please remember to like this video and subscribe to the channel to help others find our videos as well. It really means a lot to me personally and goes a long way to helping the channel grow. Cheers.